biosphere that's going to last 100 years, but you keep the humans as keystone predators. What do you bring in? How do you do this? You can't bring in anything dangerous. So they brought in over 3,000 of everything, and they locked it in with the humans. Butterflies, birds, ladybugs, hummingbirds, monkeys in this rainforest fit in the palm of your hand, look like little lemurs. Did they stay in here? No. And this is the remnants of the bamboo rainforest right up here. See the bamboo? There was no concrete here, there was no rail, there was no plastic. Did the monkeys stay in here? No, they were everywhere. One of them got hurt in the basement. So all of this, they had goats, chickens, and pigs. You saw Jane milking the goats. The humans could have meat on Sunday. They'd have to slaughter the meat themselves. Fish in the ocean, but they didn't fish from the ocean because they had rice paddies full of tilapia fish. That's where they got their fish from, the rice paddies. Fascinating project. Did they do everything correctly? No, they didn't. But they learned a lot. And I know you guys are laughing over here because I get really excited. I love this place. I'm a fangirl. I love this place. I've met 4 of them. I've met 4 of the Biospheres. Do you know what Jane Pointer does today? First of all, let me tell you a little story about her. She cut off the tip of her finger in the basement here during her 2 years. She lost the tip of her finger in a rice thresher machine. She was made fun of by David Letterman and Jay Leno, just like you guys are kind of laughing over here. Every night, watching TV at night, watching themselves being made fun of. Do you know what she does today? She's president of Paragon Space Development. She creates components that are up on the space station. You think she cared people laughed? They laughed a lot. And they don't care a bit about it. Her partner, Tabor McCullough, the chemical engineer who was in here, when I started in fall of 2007, he was on the beach with Poplar Mechanics. They were doing a photo shoot of his diving suit that he has designed for the Navy. These divers can stay in biohazard waters for a really long period of time. And he has invented that diving suit. That's the caliber of people who are involved in this project. All right, where's the animals and insects? Columbia said we're not going to be zookeepers. So they let all of this kind of go extinct. We have creepy crawlies galore. That's what we have today. They do not augment the soil. Anything that you see crawling around, don't step on it because they're my co-workers. All right, let's keep going. Shut that door. And you know what? Is it Daniel? Is it Daniel? Daniel. Okay, so the image from me, give me my email address. If you have any questions, you send me questions, okay? If I don't know the answer, I'll find it out for you. It's hot up here because of this over here. They're keeping it between 95 and 98 degrees. This is the mini Leo portion of Leo. They've got the soils in these barrels along with vegetation, native grasses and mesquite trees, testing out instrumentation. They're creating a temperature gradient. It's hotter up here than in the lower area where we're going to head next, where you're going to see a second group of these. This is all part of the preparation work for the Leo experiment. That's the value of this place, because you can create whatever you want in here as far as temperature and moisture conditions. Look over to the ocean right now. In 1991, when those people were sealed in here, this was nearly a 1 million gallon ocean. Today it's a little less. They trucked in 100,000 gallons of Pacific Ocean water in milk tank trucks, 38 milk tank trucks. Why? They were using sterile trucks to bring in the organisms. Then they added 700,000, 800,000 gallons of fresh water and chemicals to create the simulated Caribbean Ocean, keeping temperature, all the conditions of that ocean, within the parameters of the Caribbean. Today, this is more like the ocean you'd find near San Diego. It's a little cooler today. We still have fish. These fish are surviving descendants from Columbia's era. If you see where I'm pointing through the glass over there, there's a blue wall out there. I'm going to leave you there. At the end of the tour, you'll be able to walk below the ocean, self-guide through our exhibits, and wave at our surviving fish. As you look at the wall down there, those numbers were put up, those crude handwritten numbers, put up by freshmen and sophomore students from University of Arizona. And these students are part of Dr. Sullivan's group. He's a marine biologist and ecologist at U of A. He had the students out here this last year. Those numbers are their GPS. Because some of those students have their diver's certification, and they're over here in 25 feet. It's 25 feet deep. Some of the students had scuba certification. They were over there on the left. And some of the students were in the tech boat. They had a laptop. And they were helping Sullivan conduct an inventory of the fish. Here's something interesting. We have never fed the fish. The fish survive off of what's in this ocean. What are they eating? Well, algae, bacteria. Our ocean here has viruses, bacteria, and those fish. Now, here's something interesting. If I were to ask you, where does 48% of our oxygen come from on this planet? What would you say? 48%.
Water.
Organisms from the oceans. This is kind of new. Last 30 years, they're getting a handle on this. Dr. Sullivan from U of A in the desert, a very prominent marine biologist who uses this as his lab. He advises, he coordinates a group of scientists who right now, as I'm talking to you, are on a 3-year expedition going around the world taking samples of viruses in our oceans. They're called TARA, T-A-R-A. Google search when you get home. Now, they are looking at those viruses. Before 1990, Sullivan told us tour guides, he said before 1990, scientists didn't even believe the oceans contain viruses. Those viruses are part of the building blocks of our life here on the planet. This is breaking science, and it's happening now. And Biosphere 2 is part of that new science. All right, let's keep going.
Hey. Huh? Ojalá.
There are surprises in here everywhere. It would take me 3 hours to highlight everything. So take a look around. Look up, look down, look left, look right. Use your imaginations. Try to imagine what this was like for the original group. There were no screens. There were no windows. This was all sealed. And this is 6,500 panes of double thick glass with a laminate. It's thicker than your windshield, stronger than your windshield, that helped to provide this seal. Can you imagine the amount of condensation in this world? And they used every drop of that condensation in a phenomenally successful